Lots to look forward to on this Wednesday. It is the racing from Hollywood Bets at Greyville, where we're racing on the poly track and looking for a good afternoon's racing and hopefully kinder results than what we had 24 hours ago from Quebeca, where we're racing on the poly of a Fairview Racecourse. It is 12:15 at the off, 12:25 rather, the off time to that first of eight, and of course day two of the biggest hurdle meeting or jumps meeting in the world. It is day two of Cheltenham in England. Right, to take us through everything. And of course, just before we do introduce our co-pilot, it is our handles. It is the Twitter handle for X now, formerly known as Twitter. And of course, you can get in touch with us on a WhatsApp and give us some thoughts. Maybe you have connections in England who can get us out of it at Cheltenham. Right, let's talk about local racing. And it is Mr. Daryl Marie to take us through. It will be just himself and myself to take you through the A-Tracer program. Looks strappy, looks competitive, and we get it right, we should be in the profit queue. A very, very good morning to you. Tuesday rather, at Fairview was not a very good day. And I think what underlines it, Richard, just the one winner on the afternoon.
Yeah, but you know what? The bookies won, took the punters to the cleaners at Fairview, but the punters took the bookies to the cleaners at Cheltenham.
I believe so. A couple of odds-ons, and I believe the great Willie Mullins is now on 97. And I wonder if they've got a book to suggest or what sort of price they'd be offering that he hits the 100 today, as opposed to the end of the week. But we look forward to that. That is 3:30. So that'll be 3 hours and 5 minutes after we start our meeting at Hollywood Bets at Greyville. Bipot on the go, Daryl. A couple of raiders. It is a corner speeds, a regular raider at Hollywood Bets at Greyville, and also raiding is a Fani Broncos, and he's been known to raid well when he raids the poly track. What are we doing in race number one?
Well, as the weighted to win team, Cecil, we actually got two suggested bets for race one.
Okay.
Darren Barrows suggests a win bet on number 2, Sweet Julia. Oh, no, sorry, number 3. I haven't included her in the opening leg of the Bipot. I've gone with number 6 and 8. Now, Head Girl, you can see she's been very consistent in the province. Slight worry in that she has been rested since those 3 consistent runs because it looked like she was ready to break out the maidens. So I don't know why she was rested. But on form, I think you can make a strong case for her. I like the look of number 8, Emerald Green. You know, she does come back in trip with a set of blinkers this time round. And in my opinion, her best race to date has been over 1,000 meters, albeit on turf. If you go back to that run, over 1,000 meters on turf, Plinian, right? In that race was Mardel Plata and Gorgeous Guy. And that was against Open Company. So in the opening leg of the Bipot, I went number 6 and 8.
All right, let's start off with Mr. Burrows. Is the selection, his win selection, as we heard from Daryl, is number 3, Sweet Julia, racing in the colours of the Hollywood, and that will be bidding for a maiden win at the 6th time of asking. And then we've got a Daryl Marie Bipot that we look forward to starting in that aforementioned race number 1, and that is off at 12:25. It's an outlay of 216 Rand, and that deadline once again, that is 12:25. Okay, so we move on to race number 2. This means the start of the place accumulator. Now, please note it is the maiden handicap race number 2 over the 1,800 meters. And changes, well, we've got Daryl Daniels picking up the ride on what was intended to be the reserve, and he comes in a plus 1 kg. After the scratching of the 9 Pink Diamond, that will mean that the 13 Princess Emma will jump up from starting stall gate number 9. So a field of 12 to face up. It is 1,800 meters a trip. Race number 2, Daryl, as I mentioned, Fani Broncos is in town. A runner that has not been disgraced here on the Highveld is down in the KZN region and the coastal region after 2-3 very good seconds, and that is Play with Fire.
Yes, Cecil, like you touched on when you opened up, Fani has rated with success in the past. Yeah, excuse me, yeah, is a filly that's found good consistent form, and she is deserving of a victory. I think if she takes to the poly, which I'm sure the stable expect her to, you can see her winning. But on the other hand, Cecil, it is a maiden handicap, and she is going to have to do it the hard way by giving weight all round. I'm just having a look. She is a sister to Tinder Dry. Has Tinder Dry ever been to Grable?
Tinder Dry used to raise the colours of the trainer, didn't it? That was the Finer Broncos.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just
I
having a
can't
look.
recall if it ever went to Greyville. No, it didn't. Because Finer really started raiding Greyville
Yeah.
in recent times. I think it's less than a year.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I'll give her a chance. You know, I'm not really a fan of the form line True Love's a Kiss.
Okay.
True Love's Kiss. And that's represented by 3 runners over here. I've opted to include Richard Free on number 2, Sacred Lily.
From the True Love's Kiss
Yeah,
form.
because I mean, it is a bit of a jockey up. No disrespect to Hlengwa, but Richard Free from a neat draw, I think she should be thereabouts. In saying that, she's a 5-year-old mare and she's very moderate. So what you see is what you get. Number 3 is going to be my topic of here, Floral Fantasy. I think last time out on a soft track over 1950 might have just caught her out. She moved up and then she was one paced. I think the switch to Polly could see improvement. She's only got 55.5 to shoulder from a neat draw. So I believe she's better than her latest start. So I've got numbers 1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3. Let's get straight into that 1, 2, and 3. And Darren, I must say the 3 Floral Fantasy. The first 2 names, you guys regularly mention them as useful performers, especially the first one, Mascarina. So yeah, and of course we saw an exhibition of good riding from Atendua Mgudlua just Saturday here on the Highveld. We wish him well if he continues to get those chances to come and raid once again. So that is the start of the PA race number 2. 1 o'clock is the off time, and that should make for a pretty competitive afternoon's racing, as is demonstrated in that last leg. 6 runners for Daryl. All right, so we move on to the first leg of the pick 6, and in our first handicap, a mare rated 86. We have a distance of 1,800 meters. It is a field of 8. So without any further ado, let's get to Mr. Marie. I do believe that he will be giving us a Darren Burrows selection. But first of all, let's hear your selection before we round off with Daryl's thoughts.
Cecil, I like 3 runners here. I narrowed it down to numbers 3, 4, and 5. Now, just off air, you mentioned that Frank Robinson's horses ran really well over the weekend. Frank did go through a little bit of a quiet patch, and it looks like his stable's back on song. And yeah, you got a horse that's done absolutely nothing wrong to date. That was a very encouraging post-maiden effort. You know, I think that race was run at a bit stop, start. They quickened at the top of the straight, and there were a few that closed in the latter stages, and he was one of them. So off the same mark, I can see him feature over here. Darren Burrows is very bullish with regards to number 3, Madison Valley. Number 4, Ibutu interests me because I thought he was very impressive in his penultimate start when he actually beat Master Fuego. Now take note, because he beat Master Fuego quite comfortably at Morris level weights, and then Madison Valley received 2 kgs from Master Fuego. So make of that what you want to. But Ibutu now gets stepped up back over 1,800. He's been very successful over the course and distance, and the blinkers come off. So I think he's going to be ridden quietly, and he'll be doing his best work late. On the other hand, the other Hollywood Bets run over here is number 5, Al Ravien. Now, he's only contested 1 race on the Poly, which was his penultimate start. It wasn't a bad effort whatsoever. We saw Afropolitan go start to finish on that occasion. But he's going to strip fitter this time round, and he's as honest as the day is long. So another bold showing is expected on his behalf. I think he could possibly be the pacemaker of if not race handy, and get first run on the field. So I'm going in order 5, 4, 3. Darren Burrows is in the camp of number 3, Madison Valley.
5, 4, 3. Darren Burrows is the man who is a selection. We are going to have a look, and that is number 3, Madison Valley, in the colours of Mr. Sid Moodley, who is a massive supporter of the Frank Robinson stable, and certainly much appreciated. And Frank giving him the results that he obviously expects with all that money and all the horses that he has with Frank. Race 3. 35 minutes past 1 is the off time for race 3, the first leg of the pick 6. All right, so the bipod is underway, PA is underway. We just saw the start of the pick six with a popular selection in the form of the three, who was at around 18 to 10. Now, in race number 4, the favorite in the first leg of the first jackpot is the one, Fine Admiral, and that is at 28 to 10. A couple of runners that are finding a bit of anti-post support. The 7, Wyatt's Choice, is at 7 to 2, and number 4, Circle of Grace, Corner Peace, after a decent run at Termity not so long ago, is at 4 to 1, 11 to 2, the 5 Scampton. It is 8s and better bar those. Tab goal scores 6, scores 8, score 10. Merit rated 73. It's over the 1800 meters. Merit rated 73 this time, Daryl. We're going to be talking of Darren's jackpot, but your selections and your thoughts to the outcome of the race.
Cecil, I think the penny has dropped for number 1, Fine Admiral. I think he's one of the better bets on the card. You know, last time out, the money was down and he was never in doubt. He didn't exactly fire up the straights. He gradually got the job done. He ran on all the way down to the line. So I think it was a workmanlike victory. And in this sort of lineup, the pace does appear to be on. I think Circle of Grace and Scampton are going to push forward, and he should really get the run of the race just behind the pace. As Sheldon Peters likes to say, scraping paint. And why I like him, Cecil, is in his later start, himself and the run-up Safe Space pulled well clear of the balance of the field. And he only picked up a £3 penalty or 1.5 kilogram penalty. So in my mind, that was a very lenient penalty he picked up. Safe Space has run twice since then. He's won and he's run second. So the form is holding up, and a lot points to Fine Admiral being able to go back to back.
Okay, it's a bit of a rise in class.
Yeah, but I think he's up to the task.
Okay.
If you're not willing to bank him, I actually don't know what to say. Perhaps number 7, Wyatt's Choice, is the least exposed of the balance of the field. Wasn't a bad post-maiden effort whatsoever behind Safe Space, but a lot of horses finished bunched up on that occasion. So I do have my reservations. But he is switching to the poly track, Cecil, and he's lightly raced. So I respect him. Yeah, Circle of Grace penultimate start on the poly. That form line hasn't really worked out. 4 runners, 4 unplaced. So I am strong in the camp of number 1, Fine Admiral. If you want to back him up, I suggest number 7, Wyatt's Choice.
All right, so now we are going to be talking about Mr. Burrows. Does he agree with you, or does he go a bit wider here? Mr. Burrows, yes, there it is, 1, 6, and 7. So that is his selection. And then he's virtually got the field in a race number 4, that is 1 to 9. Please note, number 1, Cupid Song, is a recent scratching, so you can keep in for doubling up purposes, or you can extract into less than that outlay of 1,188 Rand. It's jackpot 1 commencing at 14.50. A drop in trip to 1,600 meters. This night rise in the merits of the race, or the merit rating of the race. It's now a merit rated 79 handicap. It's off at 10 minutes to 3, and that is the start of jackpot 2 at Hollywood Bets Gravel, where we are racing on the poly on this midweek. And the favorite now that we've lost this one, a Cupid Song, who was Antipo's favorite. Number 7, Pascali, now has that honor at 13 to 5. Number 5, a Midnight a Quarter, that's been nibbled at, and I'm not surprised at all, because I thought it was a big price initially. It's now 15 to 4, along with the 9, Future of Energy, 15 to 4. The 4, Rodriguez, is at 4 to 1, 15 to 2, and better bar those. Well, we put everything in your lap now, the Mr. Marie, because you are doing the selections, so there is no diversion. Owner breeder, Mr. Peter de Beer, the 7, Pascali. How many times on the poly track? 7 for 2 seconds and 2/4. Worthy favorite?
Yes, so he certainly found good form. As a 4-year-old, you can see he's improving. So he's on the upgrade. I have healthy respect for him. There is a negative, though, is he likes to give away starts. Last time out, he did get left. He flew up from the back of the field. He has gone up in ratings from a 64 to a 72 because of his turf runs. Now he switches back to the poly, and he's yet to be successful on the poly. So one might say he does have his work cut out, but it's a small field, and he is capable of putting in a decent finishing effort. So I can see him doing his best work late. I like the look of number 4 over here, Rodriguez. Now, this son of twice over is ultra consistent. Penultimate start might have been a touch too far for him, 2,000 meters. Last time out, unlucky not to have finished much closer. He was sort of running behind horses and the gap closed very late for him in the race. So maybe a length closer at the line, a more realistic reading for him. But I think he's going to enjoy the poly track. I mean, not the poly track, the pace on Cecil.
Yes, sir.
Midnight Caller is a galloper. He likes to go up front and
can I just point out there that Mr. Bervin Plakis gets the ride once again. He rode it last time out when it ran third, 3.5 lengths behind Giambattista rather. So he's back on the board.
Yes, depends how easy he's going to get it up front, because maybe Teichmann might trouble him. But if he does get it easy, you can see him featuring. If you like his chances, you have to have healthy respect for number 9, Future of Energy.
Yeah.
But you can see my jackpot, Cecil. I suggested numbers 1, 4, and 7. Unfortunately, the ones are late scratching. I've left him in. Maybe we can double up with his favorite. But I like number 4 here, Rodriguez. I think you can expect another consistent effort.
Okay, so 1, 4, and 7. Let's have a look at that jackpot courtesy of Mr. Marie. The one, as he pointed out, and as we pointed out when we were discussing Mr. Burrows' suggested jackpot, which started in race number 4. You can keep in the one that is a Cupid song and hopefully double up as our optimistic Mr. Marie is hoping to do. Or you replace. And there are 1 or 2 worthy candidates there. That is an outlay of 528 Rand. Race number 5 starts at 10 minutes to 3. Right, we've lost a runner here in race number 6, and that is number 5, Mystique Rouge. And we have a couple of jockey changes, though 11 Hatter is reunited with Sitle Tlengwa, and number 13, Roy's Rocker. A reserve comes into the race by virtue of the scratching of the 5, and that'll be Muzi Yeni for Paul Gatsby. And that jumps from what would have been a Mystique Rouge's starting Storgate, that is the 5. So a field of 12, Mr. Marie. And here we've got a very trappy looking track and ball gaming fillies, a mare 68. They're going over the mile. And how do you see race number 6 transpire? Now we've got, it looks by coincidence, a very, very good timely replacement for Mr. Dr. Esther Lembete, Hatter, because Mr. Tlengwa has done very, very well on Hatter in the past.
And I think Mr. Roberts' horses are coming to form now, Cecil. Yeah, I mean, she's the 6-year-old mare, so I don't think she's one that you're going to be putting the rent on.
Oh, no. But we did see this.
Quartets, yeah. Who knows? She runs her best races.
Age is a number, mate.
She runs her best races when she's up front. So who says with fitness on her side that she can't feature in the trifectas and quartets position? I like a little bit of a rough here. I think she's priced up in the region of 12 to 1. Now, I know she's held on form, but number 13, Roy's Rocker. Her last 3 efforts have been very encouraging after a rest. Now you're getting Muzi Yeni, 52 kilograms from a neat draw on a filly that's very fit. I think she's capable of springing a bit of a surprise over here. I don't think many will be shocked to see her win, but at 12 to 1, I think she does represent some value. Certainly each way value. If you like her chances, you have to have respect for the other 2 that finished ahead of her, and that is Spring Kiss and Pretty Analia. Now, Spring Kiss, I think without the blinkers, last time out, she preferred it. I mean, she settled beautifully in running. Same track and trip. Richard Free, again, knows her better this time round. Healthy respect for her. Darren Burrows likes the look of number 4, Oh So Squishy. I was devastated she never got up last time out. I thought she was desperately unlucky in the straight. She had to be eased a few times. But she's back on the poly. Let's see how she goes. And then Gilda Gray, number 8, the Raider. Now, she's only raided twice in the past for a victory and a third. The mile on the poly track might be on the sharp side for her, but she'll certainly be rattling home late. All depends on how she moves down to the start, and how she's feeling on the day. But I'm going for the value in the race. Number 13, Roy's Rocker. Darren likes the look of number 4, Oh So Squishy.
Right, so Darren on the 4 oh so squishy last run of the gamble nearly landed. That was on the Scottsville track. Went back in from odds of about 25 to 1 into the 16 to 1 and just literally touched off by Lady Canton. While Darren, that 25 to 1 will not be on offer. You're looking at the betting right now 4 to 1. But let's have a look and confirm that selection. It is a field, as just to go back to my friend's derogatory remarks about 11 Hatter being a 6-year-old. His selection is a 5-year-old, and that is Roy's Rocker. So I don't know. Age is but a number. That is race number 6. That will be the first and last chance, first leg of the last pick 3, and that is an off time of 15:25. All right, so we'll be drawing to an end with the penultimate event, race number 7, being the 7th of 8. It's off at 4 o'clock, and this is the top-rated Medred 94. It's over the 1,400 meters, and it is worth having a look at the betting. Some useful raiders in the form of, in fact, a useful raider in the form of the one, a Wise Act, and that is a co-favorite with the 6, Morgan De La Fay. And they're both at 33 to 10, I should say, Morgan Le Fay. It's the 7 Sleek as the Silk at 5 to 1. 6 to 1 is the 2 Ralph the Rascal. And then the 4 Imposing has been able to enter 4 to 1. It's 9 to 1 and better bar those. Well, Wise Act, I think after that second to Tegan's champ, and that was at Turvendine on the 12th of December, was expected to follow on next time out of the Vol. Finished just about a length and a half behind the Prince of Green, and things haven't quite remained on the same sort of curve. In fact, it's been a bit of a downward curve. Possibly today could be the day. Wise Act on the poly, never been.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that this horse hasn't quite lived up to expectations yet, Cecil.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still a young 3-year-old. No reason to say he's not going to go on with it. But they've really rated this horse highly from day one. I mean, he's contested some really strong races in the past. And last time out, the weights never favored him. So it wasn't a bad effort whatsoever. It was actually a very commendable effort in that he only got beaten 5 lengths. Penultimate start in a handicap, close up, back in a handicap, 1 draw, stables turned in a big way. He could eventually notch up his second career victory. I had a look at his breeding. You know, if there's one polytrack specialist at Greyville, it's his sister, Aisling.
Yes. She ran as well on Sunday, didn't she?
Yeah, she's won a few races on the poly track. Not
That's
saying,
Roy Woodley's horse, isn't it?
yeah, not saying that he's going to take to the poly because his sister does. I'm just pointing that out. I think this horse number 10, Diani, hasn't really got the respect he's deserved as a racehorse. I've never really given him the time of day, but he's done really well in his 10 or 16 starts to date. Last time
on
out,
both services as well, huh?
Yeah, last time out, it was a good effort returning from a layoff. That was a pinnacle stakes race. Gladiatorian was slung in at the weights, and he only got beat 3 lengths. His form since being gelded, always honest and close up. He's going to have to give them start from a 10 draw. But he'll be doing his best work late, and we haven't seen the best of him yet. So I respect his chances. Number 2, Ralph the Rascal. I think he could go well over here. He's going to get the run of the race. 54.5 from a neat draw. Maybe you can just slot in behind the favourite Wise Act. He'll be thereabouts. I think the current favourite Morgan Le Fay has got more to do. If you like her chances, you have to have respect for Sleek as Silk. And don't exclude number 4 over here, Imposing. The blinkers go back on him, Cecil. And he's right down to an 83. So I went an exacta box over here. I'm playing to beat Morgan Le Fay. I went numbers 1, 2, 4, and 10.
1, 2, 4, and 10. That is the way of Daryl Marie as we look at that boxed exact, and it is looking very trappy. But I do, for the first time since we've been discussing the show, we agreed on a certain horse, Tiani. I actually, in my heart, had liked Diani from yesterday afternoon. 1, 2, 4, 10, and that is the boxed exactor. Obviously, Morgan Le Fay, his absence would certainly be a boost any which way because it is, of course, Richard Fourie, a man on 209 winners.